Hello everyone, Sunday Adelaja here from Kiev, Ukraine, and I'm welcoming all of you back for another explosive evening today. So welcome back. This is Pastor Sunday here, and welcoming back all the guys that have been waiting. Everybody that has been expecting us, that has been expecting this, you are welcome back. Nice to hear you. Greg Bader. Blessings, Greg. Who is another person that is there? Let's greet you. If you write something, we'll be able to appreciate and acknowledge you and greet you. So, Ashabi Adeshola, blessings. Welcome. Who is there again? We'll be happy to see you. Pastor Itai, blessings. Damilare, blessings. God bless you, Greg. Yeah, welcome. We're going to have a fascinating evening today. Kingsley, blessings to you. You are welcome. Who else is there? Evangelist Austin, blessings from India. Faniron from Agege, Lagos, blessings. Okoro from London. Ofori from New York. God bless you. Oshuko, blessings. Paulo, welcome. Ifeyiwa, blessings. Bamishaye Victor. Oh wow, how are you, Victor? Blessings. Nice to see you, Victor. Yemi, blessings from Nigeria. I think you're looking forward to see you in Nigeria. Okay, you must be from Nigeria. You must be in Nigeria. Charis, blessings, Charis. Shegun from Canada, blessings. Lade Shorumke from California, blessings. Teresa from Florida. Courtney, blessings to you. Isaac from Calgary. Okakor Efe, wow, from Lakey. This is Brother Henry from Lakey. Blessings, Henry. You write your name in our language now, huh? Ekunsami Thompson, blessings. Justin Bingpe from Dublin. Stella from Kenya. Raymond from the UK. Brian from California. Musa from the Philippines. Wow, we have a full house today. Davidenka Yuri, blessings. Ewa from London. Kende from Spain. Lola from California. Shinedu Austin. They say, please rebuke the pain in her right hand. Just did the operation. We rebuke that pain and we proclaim total healing for that person in Jesus' name. Yesterday, they miss you. Yesterday is back. Thank God. I think I missed you for 2 programs consecutively. I'm sure you are watching them. I'm sure you are watching the recording. So please, as you are coming in to join, my request to all of you, please go ahead and press the share link. Please share the program with all other people that might not be online right now with us. So please, my request, go back to your timeline and press the share button. Let's quickly do that before we begin. Go back to your timeline and press the share button, okay? If you don't see the share button right now, go back to your timeline and come back and press the share button and come back to us. Akinyemi Adebayo, blessing. Olubumi from Palmdale, California, blessings. Victor, blessing from Switzerland. Yemi from Chicago. How true is it that I'm moving to Nigeria? It's actually true. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today. Benga from London, blessings. Mwepu from Saudi Arabia, blessings. Greg, blessing. Aruna is saying hallelujah. Bingpe saying yes, God bless. Bosse, blessings. Michael from New York, blessings. That is Michael Faswa. Oh, Babatunde, blessings. Eliza from Hungary, blessing to you. Hans, yes. Netherlands, God bless you. Well, I remember you. I remember Hans very well. Remember you very, very well. Justin from Zambia, blessings. Oh, Hans said he has shared the link, so I want everybody else to also go and share the link. Please go ahead and share the link. Latif, that is Akim Latifu, the Super Eagle Star. Blessings, welcome back. Yes, Yetunde says, oh yes, I'm watching and loving the broadcast like pounds, sir. I miss you too. Wow, I can't wait to meet this Yetunde girl. She's such a unique, gorgeous person. Okay, the very first question that I'm being asked right now is it true that I'm moving back to Nigeria? Yes, I keep on talking about that every time. When questions about Nigeria come up, I say that I'm moving to Nigeria, definitely. God has revealed to me last year that I should move back to Nigeria. And if you didn't see the video I did a few hours ago, just go to my video section. You will see a video that is called Going to Nigeria, I think, or Coming to Nigeria. There is a video that I did with about, maybe 200 people that I'm bringing over with me to Nigeria. And I'm preparing to come to Nigeria with 200 people from here, from Russia, Ukraine, and America, Scandinavia, Germany, Canada, just from all over the world. But I already have a team here in Ukraine, but I also getting a team together from all over the world. Anybody that has boarding for Africa and for Nigeria, I'm taking them. So if I'm taking 200 just from Ukraine alone, Europeans and white Europeans going to Ukraine, to build Nigeria with me, I would also like to challenge Nigerians who are in diaspora to come along. My dream is to bring 2,000 people alongside with me when I go back to Nigeria next year. So I'm sending out the information out there. So if you are of Nigerian descent, or if you are not of Nigerian descent and you want to move to Nigeria together with me, get ready for it. I'll be taking responsibility for most of the things that you will need over there. So just write if you need to. Can you write if you really wish to come to be with me in Nigeria, to move to Nigeria with me to bring about reformation? It doesn't matter what country you're coming from. You just write to Nigeria at Sunday Adelaja Foundation, one word, Sunday Adelaja Foundation.com. Is it Sunday Adelaja Foundation?
Yes.
Okay. Or Pastor Sunday Adelaja Foundation. No, it's Sunday Adelaja Foundation. Okay. Nigeria at SundayAdelajaFoundation.com. So, and then you could see is there any way we could get the link? The link is not there, right? Okay, you could just go to the video section of YouTube, the video section, this Facebook video section, and see the video that I recorded about Nigeria. It's the very top video right now there, I think. It's called Moving to Nigeria, what?
Yes.
It's called Moving to Nigeria. I really want you to go and watch it. It's very exciting. You'll see how Europeans are very, very excited about going to Nigeria. More excited sometimes than Nigerians themselves are. So today's topic is totally different. This morning I spoke about how to shut the mouth of your critics. How to shut the mouths of your critics. So tonight I'm here with a very popular guy right now on Pastor Sunday's Facebook and YouTube, who is going to do the analysis with me, and we are going to do the review of that program in the morning. How to silence your enemies. How to silence your critics. How to silence your critics. So here we go. Let me introduce to you Mr. Joshua Amatare. This is Joshua Amatare right here in front of you. The handsome man USA. That is Joshua right there. So Joshua, what do you tell me about the program this morning? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. Today was quite interesting because it was a topic that we're not used to hearing, or not in the way that you put it. And it was really nice to listen to it. It was very informative. It was quite enlightening. And it was really good to hear. It was good to gain some of that knowledge, because everybody's going to need it at some point or the other, because we all come across critics and we all have people who are detractors and people who don't believe in us and who don't want to look at the positive things we've done. So that's something that I think every single person needs, and every single person would definitely need to apply at one point or the other in their life. So it was really great. I loved it.
What do you think about the title itself, shutting the mouth of your critics? So what do you think about that? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a very direct topic. It's not putting words, mildly or anything. It's really
No political correctness.
No, it's not a political or a diplomatic topic. It's something that is so direct. And so when you look at that, you automatically know that you're not playing, you're not joking around. You know that what you're going for is to make sure that you make an impact. You're going for the heart of the issue. You're not, just beating about the bush. So it was a very direct topic, very applicable to everyone, and I enjoyed listening to it and learning lessons from it.
Now, what are from this title, from this topic that you listen to, so some people are wondering right now, so how do we silence our critics? How do I shut the mouth of my critics? Now, of course, when we are talking about silencing your critics, we are talking about the negative critics, the destructive critics. We are not talking about the constructive critics. We are talking about the destructive criticism. So how do you silence them? How do you shut up their mouth?
Guys, the best way to silence your destructive and your negative critics is by having results. Jesus Christ said, by their fruits, you will know them. The more people criticize you, and if you keep doing what you're doing, in no time, you would run your critics down because
maybe you will run them out of town.
Yeah, you will run them out of town, and at the end of the day, you would win many of them to become your friends because it's a normal human phenomenon for them to love results and for them to love celebration. And celebration comes with results. Celebration comes with fruits. And Jesus Christ, like we can see from the Bible, he was being criticized in a lot of quarters. A lot of people misunderstood him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did not like what he was doing actually. They felt he was breaking the law. But then people on the street could see his fruits. There was no denying it. John was in prison and he was asking, are you the Messiah that was to come? Jesus Christ didn't say, go tell him, or I'm going to send power, or I'm going to send angels to convince him that I'm the person. He said, go and tell him of the things that you have seen. So results and fruits is the best way to silence critics. The more people criticize you, go into work, come up with products, come up with things that people need. Come up with a way to better humanity, and there is no way these critics are going to win because all they do is criticize anyway, while you are providing tangible solutions to problems that humanity is facing or that people are facing everywhere.
So the more you are criticized, the more you should go to work and produce more results. Mm-hmm. So any other point that you would like to emphasize in this direction, that when you are criticized, that is a sign from God that you should double your efforts and produce more fruits?
Yeah, one of the things that I saw that makes people to be extremely successful is the fact that they don't go into depression and they don't run away when they are being confronted with criticism. And when haters, like we put it commonly in our world, come after them. Because the fact is, every successful person in the world today has people who don't like them. They have critics. They have people who feel they should be doing it another way. But if you notice, most of these people who always feel they have an idea of how somebody who is successful should have lived their lives are not half as successful as these people they are criticizing. Most of the guys who do the criticism in the world today, many people don't even know their names. We have book critics. We have movie critics. We don't even know the names of those people. But the people whose names we know are the people who actually go out there to get the job done. They're the people who write the books. They're the ones who act the movies. They're the ones who direct the movies. So, it's all about you just buckling down and refusing to be depressed. I've been in such a situation before when I was being criticized, and it was really a harsh moment for me. It was a very difficult time in my life because I felt like I didn't deserve the criticism I was getting. And at the end of the day, it forced me into some kind of semi-depression. But I later came out of it, and I didn't even know as much as Pastor explained today. But one thing is unique. When I came close to him, I discovered that in spite of all the persecutions he was going through in Ukraine, he had been in court for several years. He has to go to court every week. I went there with him, and trust me, it was an ugly experience. And I could not imagine how somebody could sit through all of that from year to year, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not for 3, 4, or 5 years, and still be always laughing. and still be writing books and still be preaching and still be loving and still be caring and still be pastoring the church and pastoring thousands of people. I just didn't get it. But now that I've heard this message, I now understand the secret to it. And I could see it in his life practically, because he always was at work. He said, I am going to create a situation for myself where I'm going to be so productive that I would not need to explain myself to anybody, because 100 years from now, my results will still be speaking for me. 200, 300 years from now, my results will still be speaking for me. So it doesn't matter what the critics say, because we'll only be remembered by the things we've done. We're only going to be remembered by the fruits that we have brought. So if you spend time in depression, you would be known as a depressed person. Nobody's going to care about the fact that you were doing good before people analyzed you or before people criticized you. If you allow people's criticism to define who you become, that is what you're going to be remembered for. But if you brave through the criticism and if you focus on being productive and being fruitful, trust me guys, nobody's going to remember the critics 20, 30, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Plato had critics. Nobody remembers them today, but we all know who Plato is. Aristotle had critics. Nobody cares about them. Martin Luther King had critics. Mandela had critics. All the guys who were great. Jesus had critics, but we don't talk about the critics. Paul had critics, but we have the Bible today as a product that no man can deny, that no man can dispute, that no man can destroy. All because he chose to focus on being productive. So being productive, being fruitful, rolling out the results is the best way to answer your critics. Don't go around arguing with them. That's another thing I got. Don't get angry. I went to court and I saw people confront Pastor Sunday.
Yeah, with me.
You know
what court? People don't tell them.
Oh, okay. He's going through a legal battle here because
Pastor Sunday.
Yeah, Pastor Sunday is going through a legal battle here because of some false accusation that came from the church, and he has to go from people. Came to the church from the world. Sorry. So he had to like go about it, like they put him in court and they said, oh, you did something wrong, but it was false accusation. He did not do anything wrong.
In court?
And I was in court with him, and I got to see people confront him physically. And one of the things that was very interesting to me was the fact that he did not even react. He was just looking at them. He didn't even say a word. It was the people who were around, like the security guys and the guys who went with him, that were even getting, very pissed off at the fact that these people were coming after him in spite of the fact that he was innocent. But then I understood that some of those things were the driving force behind the books he wrote, behind all the messages.
Court, what was I doing?
And in the court, he just kept walking. In the court, he just brings out his iPad and then he starts, coming up with new products. And then when we come out, even right in the car, we continue walking. It's like the court never happened, but it was one of the ugliest experiences that I've ever seen in Ukraine here. So it's interesting to find that we are not supposed to get emotional when critics come our way. Yes, they attack our character, they attack us personally, they attack our work and all of that. But at the end of the day, if we engage them, we bring ourselves down to their level, and we spend energy that we're supposed to be using to do positive stuff on just arguing over nothing. Because at the end of the day, what they're saying does not matter. So the best answer to your critics is not emotions, is not anger, is actually coming up with products and with good results.
Okay, I'm going to bring this home to you, Joshua.
All right.
And I'm going to come very personal. Before you had this message today, I'm sure you've had situations in your life where they have criticized you, and especially when it was not just. What was your reaction those days? How did you feel? How did you react? And how will you compare that with the knowledge that you got today? The way you were before this message today, and how this message is actually going to totally change your approach.
The way I was before today, I was pissed off. I was discouraged. I was
what happens?
When people criticize me,
okay,
or when I feel like I'm being unjustly, spoken against or attacked, I felt very bad about it, and it was a very ugly experience. And then one of the things that it made me do is that it made me to withdraw, and that's not something that I'm supposed to do if I want to be a productive person, because it means that I'm letting the critics win and I'm making myself less productive, because when you withdraw most of the time, you're not able to reach out to as many people as you're supposed to reach out to.
You are closed.
You become closed up. And if you withdraw to even, come up with new products, that's a different case. But when you just withdraw and you just give up everything and you just throw your hands up and you're like, I'm so done with all of this stuff, that does not make you
disillusionment.
You see, that doesn't make you to love your life, and that doesn't make you a productive person. But after I heard this message today, I began to understand that criticism should make me... I wanted you
to compare the reactions that was there and the way it's supposed to be.
The reactions that were there were, that of depression, that of anger, that of, I don't understand why this is happening,
confusion,
self-pity, disillusionment, discouragement. But now I understand that criticism shows that you need to double your effort or triple your effort and come up with more productive things.
Right.
And I understand that I cannot afford to be emotional about situations. Instead, I should channel all of that energy into coming up with creative ideas, into coming up with new products that would make me to answer the critics. In the sense that if somebody, for instance, is a critic and they are poor, if I don't have enough wealth in me to be able to help them out of their situation or help other poor people out of their situation, what am I going to be arguing for? So when somebody is poor, I'm supposed to be thinking in my mind and saying, how can I help these people out of poverty? In spite of the fact that that man is poor, trust me, when he sees 10 or 20 or 50 of his brothers who are poor coming out of poverty as a result of something I have created, I'm not sure he's still going to be criticizing me anymore, because he would want to come on board with a more comfortable life and with a life that has abundance as opposed to something that is of lack. And that is not going to come if you're angry with people, because it will take you out of love. I must not let people get into me. I saw something a few days ago and it says, a boat does not sink because of the water that it's on. It is when the boat itself has problem that water begins to come in and then it sinks the boat. So I'm not supposed to allow the situation around, the criticism around, to stop me, to get to me, to get inside me and make me to become bitter, and make me to become angry, and make me to become very vengeful. And that's not something that I knew before. But when I heard today's message, I began to see things in a new light, and I began to tell myself that, hey, look, I need to be more constructive in the way I work and more purposeful, because this is not something, this topic says learn. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something that comes as a natural human instinct to just embrace the criticism. You have to learn it as a skill and apply yourself to intentionally making sure that you don't let criticism pull you down, but instead you use it constructively to become better and to come up with better results and to come up with better fruits like Jesus did and all the guys who have gone before us and Pastor Sunday.
Okay, people, you mentioned Pastor Sunday just now. People have not lived here with Pastor Sunday. They don't know that my life is full of criticism and attack every day. From every quarter, from people who have close, far, government, anywhere. So, how do I live? How do I live as somebody that even experiences or goes through any attack or criticism? How does this message reflect in Pastor Sunday's life on a daily basis?
He doesn't even act like anything is wrong. If you're around him, you wouldn't even know that any of the stuff that is happening out there is happening. You would not even. Nothing would cross your mind. You will never see him sad. You will never see him depressed. You will never see him not laughing. You will never see him, on a very, low side where you feel like, oh, Pastor, and then you have to encourage and strengthen him. He doesn't have to. He's always energized and he's always full of energy and full of life, willing to go and ready to go at every point in time, willing to begin to do something, either write an article, write a book, shoot a video. He keeps himself engaged with coming up with products every single day. So you would not know that this is somebody who is being criticized on the TV here. You wouldn't know that this is somebody who is being criticized by people who even raised in the past. You would not know that he's somebody who goes to court every week and sits for hours just listening to some gibberish being spoken by people who, he's done nothing to. So all of this criticism in the press, in the TV, in the newspapers, all over the internet, you would not know that any of that is happening because he just lives his life in a productive way and he doesn't pay attention to all of that criticism. He doesn't even try to reply them. One of the examples that I also have about this situation is when he was doing the stuff about Buhari, when he was saying that Buhari should, become president, and he was going against Jonathan's government in Nigeria. Those of you who are not Nigerians, you need to understand that there was a president who was called Jonathan, and he had been there for a few years and he wasn't doing so well. a Muslim came up and he was supposed to run against Jonathan, called President Buhari, the present president of Nigeria.
Jonathan was a Christian.
Jonathan was a Christian. President Buhari was a Muslim. But Pastor came out in the midst of all of the prophecies saying the Christian president was going to win, to say no, that President Buhari was going to be the one.
The Muslim.
The Muslim was going to become the president.
So Pastor was supporting the
Muslim. So
Muslim.
Pastor was supporting the Muslim, and it was strange because people were like, why would a pastor be supporting a Muslim? Most of the pastors in Nigeria and everywhere were saying, oh, the other guy called President Jonathan was a Christian and we should support him because, you know, they try to come up with a lot of conspiracy theories. But Pastor said, no, this man coming in has results to show that he's a better leader and he has the strength of character to lead Nigeria to a new place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, criticism came. Every single day when articles were being written, Pastor Sunday was being lambasted by a lot of people.
You read some of them?
I read some of the comments and I was getting so pissed and infuriated. I was getting really angry with what some Nigerians were saying. And they were so disrespectful. They were so, you know, they were so rude. They were so abusive, as in this was not even something they did in a very coy manner. They were so directly
name calling.
You know, name calling, and all of this stuff was really bad. And the next thing that happened was he read every one of those comments. To my surprise, he even started making articles out of each and every one of the comments
Giving
that
birth
people
to
were
another
making.
product.
So out of the insults, out of the name calling, he started coming up with products. Initially, when the first article was written, you guys might not know this, but there was no plan for us to have a series of articles. But when people started talking, people started insulting and criticizing, he now said, wow, come. It's like my country is in darkness. People don't really understand what is going on. They don't understand why I'm supporting this man. So let's go. Let's start giving them enlightenment. And that's how every single day we sat down for hours, over 8 hours, coming up with articles, publishing every day. And that's how you got all the articles that you were reading. So I've practically been able to see how he turned criticism into a product and how he outlived his critics, because right now most of the people who criticized him in that election, later they had to bite their words or they had to eat their words. And even right now he's still supporting the government in the sense that they're doing the right thing, and some people are still criticizing, but he's still standing his ground and he's still coming up with a product. Like the book you can see in your hands is one of the products that came from all of the insults and all of the stuff.
Can you show the book?
People were saying back then. So this is the book. Nigeria and the Leadership Question is the title. Profiling Solutions to Nigeria's Leadership Problems. So critics of Pastor Sunday, when he was, you know, supporting President Buhari's election, this is a product.
But this is not about the election.
It's not about the election, but it's
not about Buhari
it's not even about him, but it just brought about an idea of what Nigerian government should actually be like, you know, and what leadership in Nigeria should be like, and what the role of the citizens should be in, you know, making a country to be civilized.
When it's going to be
so
released,
this book is going to be released on the 27th of May. So please, everyone, get yourselves ready. It's going to be released on Amazon, and I think in a month's time, it's going to be in Nigeria. So get ready for this book. 27th of May. It's a revolutionary book. It's a book that is going to change your life. It's a book that's going to make you a better citizen.
Is it going to be in Kindle? Yes.
Yes, it's going to be in Kindle, and I think a few other, and in hard copy, and in a few other soft copy versions as well. So get ready. On the 27th of May, this book comes out. It's a transformational book. No book like this has been written about Nigeria. It's not about the elections, it's not about President Buhari, but it's about a holistic approach to how Nigeria's problem can be solved. And not just Nigeria, those of you who are Africans, trust me, you want to get this book because there are a lot of principles in it, there are a lot of ideas in it that you can use to reshape the course of your nation if you're really passionate about national transformation. So May 27th, be sure to get your copy. And you, as you read it, get your friends to also get one. As you read it, you'll be a transformed person getting ready to be a transformer in your nation. So that's one of the products from being criticized.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Joshua. Well, I spoke a lot this morning about this topic, how to force your critics to eat their own words, how to force the critics to become silent, how to silence your critics, how to shut their mouth, how to shut the mouth of your critics. And many people just get emotional and get personal about people who criticize them. But the only way to answer your critics, like Joshua have said, is to produce more results. The results themselves will speak for you. You don't need to speak for yourself. And so what are the other thoughts you got from that morning, please?
Another thought that I got from this morning is that you should not let your situation, or you should not let the situation of the critics or the words of the critics to keep you down, and then don't repeat what they've said. Don't be somebody who is repeating the words of the critics. And don't look around yourself and say, oh, my situation is why they are criticizing me, so this thing is not something I can do much about. Nope. Everything is in your hands. Never let the critics define you. Don't repeat their words. For instance, David was being criticized, but he did not say, oh wow, why am I being criticized for nothing? He still pushed on with his agenda. And at the end of the day, the whole country started singing, David has killed his 10,000, and Saul has killed his 1,000, and he has overcome Goliath. So every single person who was criticized, one thing, or those who were criticized and ended up winning, one thing they did was they did not repeat the words of their critics. They did not stay in a situation that made them not to be productive. At the end of the day, they ended up repeating to themselves what they believe about themselves, what God has spoken about them. None of them were believing in the words of the critics. They didn't believe the critics more than they believed themselves. If you believe in what God has said about you, you should make sure that you make it yours in such a way that you don't begin to repeat what other people say. You should build yourself mentally to the point that no matter what anybody says, you believe in yourself enough, you believe in what God has created you enough so that you begin to become a productive person. But if you just go ahead and the critics say, oh, you're too short, you're ugly, you're not big enough, you're not small enough, you're not handsome enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not slim enough, well, you would end up in depression. You end up altering yourself. You will end up in a very sorry state. And then the world will just kick you out. They're not going to have mercy on you. The critics are not going to go soft on you and say, oh, wow, he's crying. Oh, wow, he's in depression. No. They're going for the kill. They're going for your purpose. So you have to be willing to dedicate your life to knowing who you are and building it up in yourself, building your focus in such a way that nobody can mess with you. People are going to say what they're going to say, but how tough you are is what's going to determine how productive you will become. Never repeat the words of your critics. Listen to them and move on. Some of the criticism is good because it should help fuel you, so it's not like you should run away from it. Some people just run away from criticism. No, embrace it, listen to it, take the ones that you think are really good that can help you, and then just throw the rest in the trash. Don't listen to them. Now, this takes real mental strength. I've listened to some celebrities who said they used to Google themselves and they ended up in depression because of how mean people are. I spend time online every day and I know how mean people are. Like, people can write the meanest of things about people they know nothing about. So be ready for it if you're going to make an impact. And if you're living a life of little results or no results, trust me, nobody's going to criticize you. I found that, like Pastor said today, when he was living just a very ordinary life, he was pretty comfortable. Everybody was happy with him. He had a lot of friends and everybody was all high-fiving him and there was all backslapping. But the moment he decided that I want to make a difference in this country, I want to become a history maker, oh wow. Then some of the people who were supposed to be friends now woke up and said, who does he think he is? Why does a black man think he can come in here and change things? And I also got to understand that your color, does not matter. Prejudice, the best answer to prejudice is fruit. The best answer to hatred is fruit. The best answer to racism is your fruits. When you have a good enough product, people will not care what color you are. When you have results, when you have solutions, people will not care where you're from. God is showing us right in front of our eyes. A man from Idomila village, Nigeria, is in the former Soviet Union, leading 99.9%. Look, what are the odds of 99.9% of Caucasian whites, Europeans? What are the odds of that? The odds are like astronomically against anybody doing. Nobody can write or make this stuff up except God. But this came about because somebody decided to stand up and attack criticism in its face. He has overcome a lot of cases here. In fact, there are some of the things I've heard or I read of in his books, how people attacked him, how people came after him. And I was like, wow, so you mean all of this happened? How his life was threatened, how people came into the church with guns to try to shoot him, but he didn't stop preaching. He didn't stop fulfilling purpose. At the end of the day, he was able to overcome the racism, overcome all the barriers, all the prejudice through the product that he came up with. So don't forget the things I said. First, you must make sure that you don't repeat the words of your critics. Don't allow them put you in a state where you wouldn't be productive because you let their words into your life. Repeat what God has said about you and what you believe about yourself from the word of God. 2, prejudice, racism, whatever you call it, can be overcome through results. If the best doctor in a hospital is black and a white man comes in, trust me, he's not going to be asking for a white guy. He's going to be asking for the best person. And if you are the best at what you do, you'll be able to break through whatever barriers you have. Next, when you have products, you shut your critics up by doors being open to you. Look at the case of Esther. She had a product which was herself. Haman could not even stand in the face of that. At the end of the day, she ended up with the king, and the man who was hating ended up in the gallows because he couldn't offer what Esther had to offer. He didn't mind that he was a critic. He didn't mind that he was so powerful that he had the ear of the king. But when somebody came in with a superior product, when somebody came in with something the king needed, her country didn't matter. Her race did not matter. She was the only one who mattered at the time. And that was because she had spent time preparing herself up until that point to become so irresistible to the king that she was able to save herself and her people. And then this man who was a critic, well, ladies and gentlemen, he ended up in his own gallows. You know the story. So we don't have to, focus on criticism and focus on critics, because if we do, we're not going to come up with any products. Instead, we will come up with bitterness. But then doors will be open to you. Doors were open to Esther because she was a productive woman. Favor was given to her. Look at the case of Joseph. He was in prison, but they had to go get him because he had solutions. It didn't matter that he was a slave. It didn't matter that he was being accused of sleeping with with a government official that was at the very top of the government's wife. It didn't matter. What mattered at the time was, what does this man have to offer? And he had something to offer the king. And what happened? He became the second most powerful man in Egypt. This was a guy who was a slave. This was a guy who wasn't from the country. This was a guy who the odds were against him because he was in prison. He was incarcerated. He wasn't a free man. But because he didn't let the criticism make him bitter and turn his back on God, he developed his relationship with God to the point that he could interpret dreams. He developed his mind. He developed his skills to the point that he could come up with solutions that the whole country needed and that was going to save the country from famine. So this was a man who didn't let criticism turn him down. Okay, let's take for instance, you're the one who went to prison. How many of you are still going to dedicate time to being a friend of God, to putting your mind at work and making sure that you're still sharp with your skills? Many people will be discouraged and they'll be like, oh, God has forsaken me. God has left me. But Joseph didn't do that. He was upbeat. Even in prison, the Bible says he was interpreting dreams to people. He was cheering people up. He didn't let he was coming up with fruits.
Results.
And even people who didn't like him, or people who must have said, oh, look at this slave boy, he's got no future. They had to love him and they had to listen to him because he had results, because he had fruits. What fruits do you have that will make you to stand before kings and not mean men? Don't listen to the critics. Focus on honing your craft. Focus on developing yourself. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself that you can, and doors of palaces will be open. The Bible says, have you seen a man diligent in his business? He will stand before kings and not mean men. The Bible did not say, have you seen a man who is loved by everybody, who nobody criticizes? No. The Bible says a man diligent in his business. How diligent are you at what you do? How good are you at what you do? Be so good that you will not be able to be replaced. Be so good that the day you're absent, people will know that somebody is not where they used to be. Be so good that whenever a problem comes up and they say, who is the best at it? Your name is the very first name that comes to people's minds. When you're that good, trust me, the haters would become your friends. Trust me, the critics, their mouths will be very shut up. In fact, they will now become the ones who will be saying, oh, we used to know him. Like Pastor said this morning, People who went to school with him, one of the greatest honors of their life is, oh, we know Sunday Adelaja, we were in his school. We used to be friends. You'll be surprised at how people who never even used to talk to you will begin to claim that they were close to you. All because you become famous and you become a celebrity. But back then, they didn't believe in you. They wouldn't tell people how mean they were to you. They wouldn't even tell people they criticized you. But then, people love results. People love results. They love fruits. If you can dedicate your life to being a productive person, there is no door that will not be open to you. There is no enemy that can stand in your way, because you are the best version of what you can be. And the Bible has said, if God is for us, who can be against us? Not even critics, guys.
Very good, Joshua, because you spoke about Joseph just now, and it's true, because Joseph's brother were his critics, and and you know, he silenced them. He silenced his critics, his brothers, and his critics even came to worship him. His brothers came to worship him eventually, and even his father came to bow down to him and his mother. And so, what are the other? I used some examples in the morning, apart from Joseph, and personal examples and also biblical examples. Well, are there some other things you would like to? Maybe some of the examples you would like to use?
Oh yeah.
And continuing to produce results.
Yeah, Joseph had results that made even his parents to bow before him, because that's something that goes against the tradition of the Jews. That's not something that is done anywhere. But his own, fruits made them to submit to him. And when you look at the life of Joseph, you're forced to ask yourself that, what am I doing that would make me years from now to be somebody who will be celebrated by even those who are my detractors today? That's a question you want to ask yourself. David's brothers did not believe in him, but by the time he became king, oh wow, I'm very sure they were very proud to say, wow, David is my brother. And many of them came and they became instrumental. Paul was a guy who many people didn't like because he was persecuting the church. In fact, when he got converted, many of the Christians didn't believe. They became critics. They said, no, we don't believe that Paul is a Christian. We are not trusting this guy. But by the time he started evangelizing, by the time he started writing things
producing
that
fruits,
even they could not understand, he started producing fruits. They said, oh wow, probably this guy is even more, born again than we are. Or probably this guy has seen God on a different level than we have. And it was actually true, because his revelational level was different and higher than people who actually stayed with Jesus, all because of the fruits that he had. And if you look all through the New Testament, you will find people who were not put down or who refused to be put down by their critics. John had critics. In fact, all the disciples had critics because people hated them. They were not popular guys. They had to take off when Jesus was being crucified. But at the end of the day, when they saw the results that they had, they say, wow, these guys are Christians. They were first called, the history of being called a Christian. They were being called Christians in Antioch because they saw them and they said, these guys are like Christ. They didn't have to talk too much. The results that they showed for it was so, intimidating, was so buoyant, was so beautiful that people had to give them a name. So know where the name Christian came from. It came from fruits that critics could not deny. This was a place where they did not like Christians. This was a place where they did not like Jesus per se, but they could not deny his results. They could not deny the things that he had done. So if you focus on being a productive person, nobody is going to be able to criticize you for long. You would end up outliving them. Jesus Christ was a guy who had, his criticism was insane. In fact, up until today, some people still don't believe from his own town that he's Jesus. His brothers did not believe in him. They were like, oh come, is it not just Jesus, our senior brother? But when he started having fruits, wow, trust me, they started to believe him. He broke racial barriers. He broke all the barriers that were there before, all because of his fruits. When you have fruits, barriers will be broken. When you have fruits, doors will be open. Pastor's story, he said he was called ugly names when he was in school. And trust me, I know what school bullying is like because I've been there. The bigger kids will bully those who are smaller and try to make them feel bad about themselves. And, he talked about how at the end of the day, he's now somebody who is being celebrated all around the world because of the results that he has. I don't know the pains that you've been through. I don't know the pains and the intimidation that you're going through today. But just understand that the best answer to shut the mouths of your critics, to shut the mouth of your haters, to shut the mouths of your detractors, to To shut the mouth of those who don't believe in you is by coming up with results. It's by coming up with fruits. It's by coming up with solutions to things that other people don't even think about. And that's one of the things I've seen with Pastor. He's good at spotting problems. Once he sees a problem, he says, I'm going to solve that. And then from solving that, he moves on to the next one. I'm going to solve that. I'm going to solve that. So make yourself relevant and productive. If you look all through the Bible, like I said before, you will see people. Moses was somebody who was being criticized. They didn't really like him. They were like, oh, this guy, he's this, he's that, he's not from, he didn't grow up with the Israelites. And many people had many things to say. But when he was leading those children out, trust me, they followed him. When he got to the Red Sea, his own people started criticizing him. They said, Moses, why did you bring us here to die? Did Moses have a fruit? Yes, he did. It was in form of his rod. And when the sea parted, were they still enemies to Moses? Each and every one of the Israelites crossed. They forgot that a few minutes ago, they were turning against the man who led them out. But when he was able to come up with a result, when he was able to bear fruit, they automatically came on his side. So the best way to shut critics up is by coming up with fruits, is by coming up with results. No matter how much people hate you, be a productive person. Be determined to work harder. Be determined to spend the hours that other people are not willing to spend. Be so disciplined in yourself and determined that nobody is going to outdo you. One of the things I've discovered about Pastor is he's been driven to be the best at whatever he does. He says, I'm going to be the best in whatever I do. In the world, he said, I'm not looking to be the best among the black people. I'm not looking to be the best in Europe. I'm not looking to be the best in a corner of the world. I want to be the best all over the world. And he puts that same dedication into every product that he comes up with. And that's why his books are bestsellers. His church is such a unique one. His leaders are such unique people because he builds them up in such a way that wherever they go, people know a leader has come in here. A transformational leader has come in here. Not just somebody who is just, trying to make some noise or something. They have products. Every single service we go for, we have people coming up with rehabilitation centers. We have people coming up with books they've written. We have people coming up with projects they've started. We have people who are getting elected into government offices and positions, all because of what he has taught them to do. And it's not because these people don't have oppositions. Yes, they do. But this all came because one man first chose to go through all of the criticism and still focus and still double his effort in making sure that he makes the people what he wants them to become and what God has proposed for them to become. There was a guy I saw in the church. This guy is 2 feet tall, talking about physical size. This guy is like 2 feet, I think, Pastor.
2 feet?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 feet.
Yeah, 2 feet, not 2 meters. 2 feet. The guy is a dwarf. This guy used to be a thief. And nobody cared about him. He was somebody who was disenfranchised. You know how the little people are being, they are not part of the cream de la cream of society. But this guy said, when he listened to pastors' messages, such as we're hearing right now, he said, I began to think in my life that, look, I'm not actually disadvantaged. I can actually use all that I have to become a better person. And ladies and gentlemen, as I'm talking to you, that guy became a movie star. That guy became a leader in the community. I was shocked. I was looking on stage and listening to this guy testify. And I was like, how does a guy who is 2 feet tall become a movie star in a few years, become a leader in the community, become the head of all of his kind in Kiev or thereabout? I don't know the exact point, but he became a leader, all because one man chose to brave through the criticism. Now, what would have happened if Pastor said, well, I don't like what has been said about me, and I'm just going to go enjoy myself with my family. I don't need to struggle. I don't need this. What would have happened? A lot of lives would not be where they are today. So we must be people dedicated to putting the critics to shame. And some critics are still going to be put to shame because there's still some of you out there. So critics listening, the earlier you get on board, the better for you, because criticism fuels the passion of Pastor Sunday. And I'm also learning to apply that to my life because I've seen it work in the Bible. I've seen it work for him, and I'm sure it'll work for me and for you as well.
Thank you, Pastor Joshua. Well. Let's see what people are saying. Melissa says, when people see us producing fruits of the Spirit, it's the best message we can give. Right. Shiamaka saying, this is amazing. Amen says, this is thank you. Oludare says, criticism is good. Wow. Olukayode says, may all all bear multiple fruits of righteousness. Amen. Cecile says, good evening, Pastor Joshua. Anna says, blessed man of God. Baba says, I already saw this coming, but God always vindicates his children. Keep on doing the good work. RCCG Donham says, very easy to criticize, very easy to destroy, but building takes time. Well done, Pastor Joshua. Shegun says, you are amazing, Joshua. God bless you. Fumi says, God bless you, brother. Andy says, results. That's so true. Gift says, Pastor Sunday and Pastor Joshua, good evening, and God's blessing to you both continually. I pray fresh oil, wisdom, revelation, knowledge on you always. That's gift. Ewa says, David said, is there not a cause? We should be more result-oriented and not be substance without form. Oh, look how they said, yes, your results will speak volume. The end will always justify your sacrifice. Flora says, amen. Wonderful review. Thank you, Pastor Sunday and Pastor Sunday Jr. Joshua. We are so blessed. And then Joshua says, wow, Pastor Joshua, this is insight, he says.
Thank you.
And Fumi says, wow, how tough you are will determine how productive you become. Oludari says, bless you, my young pastor. Kizito says, God bless you, powerful. Enriching and enlightening thoughts. That's from Redeemer's Chapel. Joshua says, Pastor Joshua, you are just great. Lola Shorunke says you should get a copy of this Nigerian book. It's going to be available on Amazon. People are asking, where is it going to be available? It's going to be available on Amazon from this Friday on the 27th of May. Ariyuke Adedayo says, from Saudi Arabia, thanks, Pastor Sunday. You are doing a great job. You are a blessing to this generation. May God increase your wisdom. I give God glory for your life. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Victor Blessing say, wow, Brother Joshua, thank you. God bless you. If anyone says, thank you so much. I have more peace now that I know that I'm going to finance the kingdom business. RCCG Doham said, this young man is full of wisdom. There is hope. There is hope for generation to come. Look at they say, God bless you, Joshua. Fumi says, evening. Okay, evening to you, Abba, evening. Bingpe say, I would like to have the book. Well, you get it on Amazon from Friday. Tiger said, I have been looking for that book in Nigeria. No, it's not in Nigeria yet, but it's going to be on Amazon from Friday. Okay. Olufemi said, good word of encouragement from you, sir. Keep on the good work. It is only result that cancel insults from the mouth of critics. Thank you. Irene said, this is the Pastor Sunday that I saw in Ukraine. Very energetic and vibrant. Ewa said, the two most important and valuable things we truly need to grow in our lives are God and man of God. I believe we've got that in the life of Pastor Sunday Adelaja. The graduation video yesterday was a testament to that. Praise the living God. Okay. Tony said, I love this Pastor Joshua.
Thank you.
Bingpe said, I love that double your effort. What a spicy talk. Keep rolling, bro.
Thank you.
Yemi says, I trust God wants to use what Pastor Sunday is going through to liberate someone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Fumilayo, do you believe that we as human beings coming from different religions and cultures can coexist? Oh, yes, we have to. Through love. Love is the language, and love is the key. Opayemi says, very true, I keep loving him by the day. Okay. Ewa says, Jesus is the most criticized person ever. That is true. Ifenyuwa says, awesome message, silencing the critics by producing results. Okay, guys, let's go and share the message. If you have not shared the message, go and press the share button, and let's go to our timeline and press the share button, please. Let's share the message so that more people could be able to get a glimpse into it. Before we go, I would like to ask for the last thought that Pastor Joshua might have about silencing our critics.
Guys, one of the things that I've seen that has really helped Pastor in his pursuit of silencing the critics is the ability to package what you've got. The critics are very loud. That's one thing I've found. People love bad news. For some reason, it resonates more with people than good news. People are not very interested in the great things you do. But the moment you take a little step out of line, or you make one mistake, or you do something they don't approve of, they will begin to criticize you in such a way that you would be shocked and you'll be like, but I've done a lot of good to these people. So learn to package your own results. Have your own news carriers. When something great happens, you've got social media. Don't just keep quiet about it. Share it with other people because it will help them to gain motivation. Put your products out there. Put your fruits out there. Don't just write a book and keep it in your closet and say, oh wow, I'll release it in the future. The thoughts you have, release them. The gifts you have, use them. Make videos, make clips. Empower the lives of other people with the gifts and the abilities that you have. Package your results and put them out there. Don't just let the critics be the only ones that will be heard, because trust me, they are going to be heard loud and clear. But you also want to make sure that your product is right there in front of people to see how fruitful you have become. Being a fruitful person comes through sex. I've heard that women say, oh, we're the disenfranchised, and you have some people who are so-called feminists in the world today. When you have results, your sex does not matter. When I go to the hospital, I don't ask for a male doctor, I ask for the best. When I need somebody to coach me, I don't ask for a male, I ask for the best. So if she's a woman, it doesn't matter. If the best person for the job is a woman, it does not change anything. Be the best at what you do. Every weakness you have, people will ignore it. If you have results, nobody would care because they see that you're somebody who has fruits. Finally, be a person of love. If you let the bitterness and the critics get to you, the first thing they're going to attack is your heart. They're going to attack the love that God has put in you and the love that God has commanded us to owe people. The Bible says that the only thing you should owe any man is love. Love your critics. Love your enemies. Love them into submission. Love yourself enough to be productive so that you can help them. When people were criticizing Jesus, he still went to the cross and died anyway. He never said, oh, I'm going to give up on these people because they don't seem to believe in me. He stuck to the people who loved him. Stick to people who love you. Keep yourself in an environment where you can productively grow and be your best. Don't focus on the critics. Make sure that you're the best version of yourself that you can be. And at the end of the day, everyone is going to celebrate you. I'm sure each and every one of us wants to be celebrated. So don't focus on your weakness. Don't focus on the things that the detractors are saying. Focus on being a person of product. Focus on being a fruitful person. Be exceedingly fruitful. Jesus Christ said, go out there and bear fruits. And then he said, I want your fruits to remain. He didn't say, I want your fruits to be transient. He didn't say, I want your fruits to be forgotten. He said, bear fruits so that they will remain. He said, 10-fold. 50-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. The magnitude is large. The field is large. There is room for everyone to be as productive as they want to be. Shut the mouth of your critics every single day when you wake up by dedicating yourself to coming up with a product. Don't let the critics win, because at the end of the day, this message is going to stand against you, because we've told you that criticism shouldn't stop you. It should help to fuel your passion. When people criticize you, it means that it's time for you to do more. It's time for your products to be a little more, the number of your products to increase and to be upgraded. So when you hear a criticism, tell yourself, I need to do more. I need to do more. And before you know it, you'll be doing something that will be shaking the world to its foundations. Pastor Sunday is doing it. They criticized him, but he ended up in the United States Senate. They criticized him, but he ended up in the Israeli Senate. They criticized him, but he ended up with the Japanese, who don't even believe in Jesus. The Japanese parliament, who don't even believe in Jesus. But because of the products he had, they were open to a pastor a black African, to come and talk to them in their parliament. Guys, where do you want to go that can be bigger than the center of people who don't even believe you? And then you're not just among the low people, you're at the very top in the parliament of a country that is not a Christian country, that is an idol-worshipping country. There are Hindus and Buddhists over there. They don't believe in Jesus. They are Confucianists, basically. But pastor went into their parliament, they gave him time, they sat down and they listened to him because of the products that he had. Get your products, guys. When critics come, just answer them with products. Don't answer them with your words. We Africans are very energetic people. We're very compassionate. We're very passionate people. We like to, slug it out with our words. Forget about slugging it out with your words. Internalize whatever energy you have and use it to become a productive person. Many people did not like Einstein, but it didn't stop him from being a productive man. And today, we are enjoying the fruits of what he came up with. Many people did not like somebody like Tyler Perry when he started making movies because they said, oh, he's black, we don't like him. But today, the world is being blessed by the things that he's doing. Many people didn't like Martin Luther King, but today, the world is benefiting from what he did. Many people didn't like Paul, but when he shook off that snake, trust me, there were not many doubters around anymore. In fact, his own critics became the people who started trumpeting his own, signs and wonders. These signs shall follow them that believe. There is something about signs and wonders that made Jesus to give it to us because it announces us. It makes us to be lifted above depression. Results and fruits elevate a man. Refuse to be put down by people's criticism. Instead, allow your fruits to elevate you above the hate. Allow the fruits that you have to elevate you above every criticism that anybody brings your way. Allow the results you have to elevate you above poverty, to elevate you above just being an ordinary person, to elevate you above being a mediocre, to elevate you into becoming an exceeding great success. Because that's what God expects from us. You can be successful. All you need is a product. Every successful person you know has a product. That's why they are successful. Mark Zuckerberg has Facebook. That's why he's a success. Bill Gates has Microsoft. That's why he's a success. Slim Halo has the telecom company. That's why he's a success. Warren Buffett has his insurance and his investment companies, and that's why he's known as a successful person. Pastor Sunday has the Embassy of God Church and hundreds of books and thousands of people to show for his ministry and for his life, and that is why he's considered a success. So refuse to be put down by critics. Instead, come up with products that the world will respect, come up with products that the world cannot deny, and years after now, you will still be celebrated for it because you were a productive person and you were not a person who allowed the critics to put you down. Shut them up today, shut them up this week, shut them up forever, and you will be a winner. Hallelujah.
Thank you so very much, Joshua. You see, the new generation, we're having a new deep dimension, a new generation of young men that are totally preaching the different, new, fresh gospel. The gospel of the kingdom.
You, Pastor.
Yes, and I will be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 Ukraine time. That is 7:30 a.m. British time, 7:30 a.m. Nigerian time, 8:30 a.m. Central European time, and then in the evening I will be back again with a review with one of the young lions that are coming up. So, and in the evening it's always 9:00 p.m. Ukraine time, that is 7 p.m. Nigerian time, 7 p.m. British time, 8 p.m. European time. And in America, Eastern time is in the morning is 2:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. as well every day. So God bless you all. Please go and share this message. Go and press the share button. Please share the message with somebody, with people who are your friends, who might be able to watch it later on so that it will be a blessing to them. Thank you all for being here. It's been a great time with Pastor Joshua and a young man that's going to change his generation for God. Okay, God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. Share the message. Don't forget to go and press the share button. God bless. Bye.